Okay. Thanks for attending today, everybody. This is the Accelatis Essentials series, and today's webinar is going to be creating simple health checks. Just to give everybody an idea of what we're doing here, the Essentials series of webinars is just a very quick dive into a very specific subject to help people either refresh their memory on what they might have done in training some time ago, or for new folks to come in and learn functionality about the system that they might have some questions on. So again, we're trying to keep these down to 15 minutes, just to keep it into a nice set area. Makes it easier for you to be able to attend and know that it's going to start at 11:45. It'll end at 12 o'clock Eastern time anyway. We're not going to do a Q&A session, and again, just try to keep it in that time frame. But you're always welcome to send email or any kind of feedback afterwards for sure, and we can answer anything that might not have been clear to you. So today we're just going to go over creating simple health checks. I wanted just to go over the different types of health checks. So the simple health checks are the ones that don't need any framework underneath them. You can just go to the module and create them. Those include the file existence, file share existence, pings, processes, are they running, services running, URL probes, or port checks. Again, you can always go into the module and just create these on the fly. You don't need to do anything other than hit the plus sign. There's some more advanced health checks that we're not going to cover today, and those are going to be covered probably each in their own essentials course, but they include the database check, the SQL request scalar, user simulations, and custom scripts. All of these health checks need something to be done before you can create them. Either it's a database connection or something else saved in the system in order for you to fully utilize that type of health check. There's also something in the health checks called custom failure criteria. We are not going to cover custom failure criteria today. Again, it's probably best covered in a future essentials session. So the uses for the health checks, just to remind everybody why you would even bother to create one. Certainly the top one is going to be alerting based on an up or down event. Is something, did it fail, did it pass? And if it didn't, I want an alert, I want an email sent, that sort of thing. The other reasons why you might use a health check are for the history. You want to know if something's up or down, and you might not want to be alerted on it. You might not really care, but say a database team says that your database is going to be down on Sundays from 1 to 3, and you can use a health check to see the history to know that that this database certainly, maybe it went down at 1 o'clock and it was available at 2:30, or maybe it was available at 5 o'clock and you've got some work to do with your IT department. But again, the history is important as well. You can also create different types of graphs with the health check information. You can create connectivity graphs, which will show you how quickly something responded. Now for the simple ones that might not matter to you, but for some of those advanced ones, certainly that might matter as far as how fast were you able to serve up a report, how quickly did something respond. You can also do uptime graphs, which basically is just telling you, is this thing available? Was it up, was it down? Create a graph to show you. The other part of the health checks would be dashboard widgets. If you're out there creating dashboards, you can use an uptime gauge, uptime list. Again, performance graphs can show up on a dashboard. You can use health indicators, which could be a pie chart or a bar chart, or a separate list of health checks. And again, it's a quick way to pull up a dashboard and see the status of all your health checks. And then the last thing I have listed here is to run an automation based on a health check. Again, separate from alerting, separate from the history. If you know that you want to check to see if something's happening, something's there, something's up and running, and if that doesn't happen, if you know as an administrator that, well, if this is down, I need to do these 3 or 4 things, you can set up an automation in the system based on that health check result. And then if something happens, again, in the way of a health check failure, the system will just go out and run that automation and take care of it for you. So those are really the reasons why you'd want to go ahead and create a health check. So really the meat of the webinar is to show you how to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull up one of my environments here. I'm already logged in. I'm looking at the main screen in the Accelatis UI. And to get to the health checks, you simply click at the top here on health. If you're using an older version, a 3.5 version or 3X version, it's going to look slightly different. Your health checks are going to be here on the upper left-hand side. Again, for today, I'm on 4014, so I click up here. First thing you see in the module is the list of existing health checks, and this is organized by server. I have one server in my environment, so I am sure that your environments are going to look much different. You'll have a bunch of servers. And what happens with this screen, sometimes it might get a little cluttered if you've got lots of health checks running on lots of servers. There's some shortcuts up at the top where you can collapse and expand and do all kinds of things to find what you're looking for. But in here, you see that you've got a green check mark next to the health checks that are good. You can see the time that it checked over here. And again, just a list of all the different ones, but today we're talking about creating health checks. So in order to create a health check that does not already exist, you want to come up to the top here and you want to click on the Health Check Designer, which is this icon. Once you open this screen, you are presented with 3 tabs. We've got a number of built-in health checks. Now, you don't have much control on whether these exist or not. These are all based on plugins and products that you have told Accelatis that you have. And once you start up the agent, it will go ahead and it will create the ones that you see here in built-in. Now, just because it creates them automatically doesn't mean you have no say over what happens. You can modify any one of these by double-clicking on it. But for the most part, again, the default settings are usually kept here. Change whatever you need to. Remote clients, if you do have a remote agent installed, so you've got an office in Australia and also an office in Japan, you can assign health checks to run on those remote agents. They will run from that location and they will write the information back to the database wherever Accelatis is. User-defined, these are going to be all of the health checks that you as an administrator have gone in and you've created. We've got a number of them here, but I'm going to walk through the whole process. So once you're in the Health Check Designer and you see that you want to add a health check, it's going to be the green plus up at the top. And this will get you into the health check creation screen. So from here, the drop down at the top offers you all of those health checks that I went over at the beginning. Again, you flip down the list and you're going to pick whichever one. They're fairly self-explanatory. Does the file exist? Does the file share exist? You know, can I ping a server? And all you really need to do is go ahead and pick any one of them. I'm going to go ahead and just do a port check just to show you. Most of the screens are the exact same with the one exception of this field, which is where you're going to fill in the information. In this case, a port check, you need a machine name and a port. If I were to change that to a URL probe, it's going to ask for an HTTP address. So you see it changes depending on what I've picked. You've got a couple fields here. Display name, obviously, is going to be what you want to call it. In this case, I might call this IIS running. And I'm going to check localhost port 80, which is where IIS is running. Actually, I don't even know if I have IIS running, but that's okay. The next field, which is instance, is fairly important. Say you've got a number of checks that are the same thing. Instead of IIS running, maybe I have something that's called you know, web running, and I've got 6 web servers running on this particular system. I can distinguish between all of them by adding the instance. So IIS running, I'm going to call this EPM system 1 IIS check. And I could make those different. Again, this information can all be identical, and I could change the instance, and that would give me a way to distinguish a difference between the same exact health check running on the same exact server, you know, maybe slightly different with the target, but it's a quick way for me to know that this is different. Next field, set my severity on the failure. If this thing fails, what is my severity level? I'm going to make it a 1. And the next one, flow on trigger. Okay, this field is going to tell the health check if this fails. If it triggers, I want to go ahead and I want to run a flow. Okay, again, a little more detailed. You would have to create the flow first and then pick it out of this list. But if you have it, again, maybe a service restart or something like that, you can certainly come down here and pick your automation that you want to run, and it will run it when this is triggered. You can also add variables to your automation depending on what tasks are in there. We're not going to really cover this, but just know that it's there if you want to change the subject of the email that is sent. You're certainly allowed to do that from here. These fields underneath, the check frequency and write frequency, understand that the check frequency is going to be how many minutes in between checks. Okay, so I could set this to a low number like 2. The write frequency is how often am I going to write a successful result to the database. So in this case it's 10 minutes. So even though this thing is checking every 2 minutes, it's only going to check. It's only going to write to the database every 10 minutes to say, hey, everything is good. This check was successful. So understand that there's definitely a difference between these two. If you want to use this as an uptime indicator, you have to make these the same, because the idea is that every time it checks, it's going to write. If that doesn't happen, there's going to be some missing data, and it's not going to know that your stuff was up. So check frequency, write frequency, slightly different. And then underneath that, you're going to assign it to a server. In my case, I only have one server in my environment. You're going to have multiple servers as you drop this down. And you're telling it you want to apply this health check to this one server. I could also apply it to the group, and these are Accelatis groups that you would find in the Environment Manager. So I can assign a health check to a group. So I pick whatever one is appropriate, and I always click on Preview. Okay. Once I click on Preview, it compiles all of the information that I have above. It puts it in this line down here. I could quickly see what I did, all my stuff, my check frequency, write frequency. Once I see it in there, I hit Apply. And if you noticed in the back, it did add it to my list. So once I add it to the list, I can close it. I can click OK. And now I have my new check. And to be honest with you, I don't even know if IIS is running, but the reality is I've got my check there. Sure, I do have it running. Wonderful. I also want to show you that from this screen, you can change the severity of a health check, and that's what this other Save button is all about. I can actually come in here and say, oh, well, I want severity 1s all down the board here. I can make those changes, and now I can hit my Save button. Okay, and that'll allow me to save those severity changes here. Okay, so in a nutshell, that's how to add a health check. Very simple. Before I get too far, I also wanted to show you that when you do process is running, that the little ellipses can help you out here. We'll actually go out and we will compile the entire list of processes, the owner, the PID. Very easy to pick a process. It'll fill everything in for you, okay? Services work the same way, so know that those little ellipses can help you out. I wanted to make sure that I had enough time to show you from the health module. If you double click on any of these, it'll actually show you the history of that health check. Okay, so I double click on it, and what this is telling me up here, I'm looking at 30 minutes of data, and by default we only show you when things change. Okay, so in the last 30 minutes you could see that I've always had a success. Now if I move this time down to say 4 hours and I refresh it, you're going to see me this morning messing around with this, where I stopped and started the service, and you can see now that I am showing that I was successful here, and then at 9:30 I had an issue. It was not successful. Again, successful at 9:36, not successful here. This is only showing me when the state has changed. Now, if the agent wasn't up, then of course I wouldn't know if the state changed. So we can remedy that by pulling down this button at the top, Show Only State Change. Once I do that, now I see every single check that I have done I know my agent was up. I could see every single instance. And if you think back about the write frequency and check frequency, right? Just because something's checking every 2 minutes, if you have that write frequency set to a higher amount, you're only going to see that write frequency in. So, be careful in choosing your values. Make sure it's telling you the information that you want it to tell you. Okay, and that's really the crux of the health checks, creating it and looking at the history of it. I wanted to throw this screen up if you want to do a quick print screen. A lot of this stuff is not in the documentation, but these are EPM URL health checks. Depending on what product you're running, you can do a URL health check against your server here. And these are all valid URLs that you can hit, all valid URLs that we will check against. And if something were to happen to the service or the application, then you would see it there. And that's really it for health checks. Next session, I just wanted to let everybody know, next week, same time, be on the lookout for creating KPIs. We're going to show how to create KPIs, where they come from, and a little bit about the module navigation and how to move within that. I want to thank you guys again for attending. Questions and feedback, always welcome. We definitely want to hear what you guys are up to. We want to hear what you guys think might be some good subjects to do for the Accelatis Essential Series. You can always email me. You can also email the general support mailbox at support@accelatis.com. And again, we're interested in hearing from you guys. Be on the lookout for more of these series. We're going to do a whole bunch of them, so let us know what you want to see, and we'll certainly try to get it out there for you. Thanks so much for attending, everybody. Have a great day.